Review, demonstration, and installation of the Olight PLX Compact Dual Beam, the first pistol light I've seen that has flood and spotlight modes. The spotlight will come out of the bottom and the flood will use the two top. Here's the spotlight, and then I can easily switch to the flood pushing this slider down. Has 6 different lighting modes and 2 different programmable switch functions. Spotlight on high, spotlight on low, flood on high, flood on low, spotlight strobe, flood strobe. Momentary function by holding the button down, constant function by clicking and releasing. You can push down or in on the switch. Spotlight high, we have 900 lumens and 22,000 candelas. On low, we have 200 lumens. Floodlight high, we have 1200 lumens with 3,310 candelas, and on the low floodlight, we have 300 lumens. This is also the first flashlight I've seen that has a full metal construction made of 6061 aluminum. Even the rail adapter and the switches are metal. Tactile click to it so you can feel it engaging. The switches are standard size-wise for most of your compact lights. They kick out a little bit, although I would have liked the switches to extend up a little bit higher so it would have been easier to hit without adjusting your hand so much. But this is sufficient. The full metal housing definitely makes this feel like a much more quality product. Has a nice finish on it. They tested it on 50 BMG to 12 gauge and they ran 10,000 rounds through it. Impact resistance of 4.5 feet, weighs 3 ounces, which is on the heavier side. Having that extra weight can help with muzzle rise. 180-degree reversible rail adapter to fit various models from full size to compact. Also has a 4-position middle slider for more adjustment. 1913 is already installed, but it comes with a Glock rail adapter, an extra screw with Loctite, and an Allen wrench for installation. Anti-loosening ratchet system to help with durable retention and alignment under recoil. Convenient battery indicator on the side to tell you your percentage, which I wish more companies would do. It's nice to be able to know how much charge you have. Directly USB-C rechargeable and includes a cord. Full metal port cover that has good resistance on the hinge. This isn't going to open or close by itself. Takes 2 hours to fully charge. You don't have to take the light off because the port is on the bottom. Spotlight high, it'll run for 5 minutes at 100% and then it dies down to 44% for 44 minutes. On the low, it's going to run 100% of the time for 2 hours, 25 minutes. For floodlight, we have 100% for 5 minutes. Dies down to 42% for 40 minutes. Then on the low, it's going to run 100% of the time for an hour and 55 minutes. For the mode selector, I'm on the floodlight on the bottom right now. All I have to do is very easily switch it up to get back onto spotlight. You can also switch it while it's on. Spotlight is a little bit more for defensive applications where you need to beam out far. And then if you need to switch to the floodlight for a more search and rescue type of approach, it's going to span out wider and cover more area. In mode 1, it's going to give you the most accessibility to your functions. When it's on, just double click to get to the low setting. If you happen to turn the light off while you were in low mode, it will kick back on at that low mode. But if you want to turn it on at the brightest setting, you're just going to double click and it takes you right to the high. You can activate strobe by pressing both buttons twice or by pressing one button 3 times. To get into mode 2, which is a little bit more straightforward and slims down some of the options, click and hold while the light's off. I'll click once and then hold it again. The 2 flashes meant that I'm in mode 2. Mode 2 pretty much disables the low mode and it makes activating your strobe light faster and easier. So I'll just click it once. That's going to get me directly to my high. I'll still have the spotlight function, but if I want to get to strobe, I'm just going to double click twice instead of having to hit both buttons or press it 3 times. So this is going to prioritize your high function and it's going to prioritize strobe. It costs $120, which I think is a very good and reasonable price for the quality, especially since the Streamlight TLR7, which is the closest to this, is coming in at $155. And it doesn't have nearly as many features or the entire metal body. For the installation, all you'll need is the Olight tool and the Glock rail adapter if you're installing it on a Glock. Take the smaller Allen key side and I will insert it into this screw. I will unthread it all the way and pull the screw and the rail adapter off. The screw already has thread locker on it. If you would need, you can reverse the rail adapter, but for this Glock 19 I'm going to be installing it on, I'm just going to keep it in the forward configuration. Drop the screw back in to the rear hole, start to thread it back in. Snug it up until the screw pretty much stops moving. I'll give it a little bit more of a turn, then I'll unthread the clamping screw with the flathead portion all the way until it stops. Make sure your firearm is unloaded. For this Glock 19, I'm going to keep the middle slider pushed all the way forward, and then the notch on the bottom I'm going to align with this Glock rail adapter. Push the clamping screw all the way out. I can then slide it on, and I just want to make sure that the rail adapter went in the notch on the bottom of the frame. Start to tighten down that clamping screw. Decent amount of tension on there. Again, I am clamping to polymer. I don't want to really torque this on there and bend or warp the frame. Looks great on the gun. This flat surface really matches the Glock slide, has a nice clean look to it, especially that triangle front. It is a compact, so it is going to fit the Glock 19 and stuff like the Glock 45 very well. It'll be flush with the end of the slide in the barrel. I am going to be able to hit my switches normally. I can reach forward a little bit, swipe down, go to floodlight, or I can swipe back up and go to the spotlight. So hitting this is pretty easy. It's a small adjustment. Having the ability to switch between the floodlight and spotlight is very nice depending on the situation you're in. A tad bit wider than the slide, which is pretty normal. With the amount of round testing they did, all the higher caliber firearms they shot it on, and the complete metal housing, even the switches, the port cover, this is a very quality product for $120. I also think that it is a strong entry into the duty and self-defense category. I do like all the innovation and features that you get, especially at that lower cost. I think this would be good for somebody who prefers to charge the flashlight instead of change out batteries. Also, if you like the full metal design, or if you just want to save that $35. I really like how Olight continues to innovate, making quality products for a very affordable price, packing a lot of features into one singular light. If you want to see more videos like this, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to help support the channel, and thank you for watching.